We're all looking forward to President Putin's visit and welcoming him here in India. As you are aware, India's national capital has had one of its worst terror attacks in more than a decade. Would Russia support India in the event of India taking any action against terrorist bases in Pakistan? And the second question, you mentioned free of those who are trying to interfere with international trade. What is the role of the rupee, ruble, and the yuan in international trade as you see it in the years to come?
Well, we strongly condemn terrorism, whatever form of this terrorism and whatever source of this terrorism is. Our country has suffered a lot from the hands of terrorists, and we know the pain of losing people because of acts of terror. And we remember and will be always remembering this pain. And we know that India has faced this threat numerous times, and we stay together with people of India, and we do condemn terrorism. And of course, we think that the only way to combat terrorism is to have an international cooperation. Unfortunately, the divisions that we have now with the European countries limit this possibility for us, but those possibilities are open in alternative directions, like India, like other countries in the east of Russia. So we'll be ready to cooperate with our Indian friends in combating terror. This is number one. And what was number two? I beg your pardon.
The rupee, ruble, and yuan
yes,
as alternate trade currencies.
Yeah. So the share of dollar is decreasing in global trade. The share of American dollar is decreasing, and the share of national currencies is growing. It's not a fast tendency, but it's a very sure tendency and will continue for coming years. This is our understanding. For example, we prefer to use as much for national currencies in doing trade with our partners as possible. Why? Because we don't like US dollar? No. Because we're deprived of a right to use US dollar. So they simply banned US dollar for our country. So what is our next step? To increase the national currency value. And we're doing that, and it's quite successful. And we found the reciprocal interest in our partners while doing trade. So this share is growing. The share of American dollar is dropping. This is the reality. Now I would say it's quite a humble tendency, but it seems to be very, very stable, and it will continue, and the tempo of this tendency will continue to be faster.
I just want to add that Rishab Gulat, editor-in-chief, News9 TV. You forgot to represent. Так, Dipanjan, please, Economic Times.
Good afternoon.
Chaudhary,
Yeah.
yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peskov. My name is Dipanjan. I write on foreign affairs for Economic Times. What is the message or that the Russian government would like to give to the Indian investors who have been quite wary of the sanctions, not just in 22, but even before, after the Crimea, to explore the Russian market in terms of investments and trade? How can they learn from some other countries, including in Europe or some elsewhere, to explore the Russian market? And B, during the visit, will there be an effort to link the SFPS with the Indian messaging system? And will there be a discussion on that? Thank you.
We are interested in foreign investments. Russia is continuing to be an open country for foreign investments, and we are ready to create the most favorable conditions for investments coming from abroad and from India as well. We are facing now difficulties because of those sanctions, as you have mentioned. But Indian business, like business of lots and lots of countries, is still demonstrating a great interest towards our economy. And Indian businessmen are still on the Russian market. And they are continuing their presence on Russian market despite all the sanctions. We never give any details not to harm the interests of those businessmen. But they're continuing to work here, and they're continuing to benefit from their presence here. They're earning money, and they're earning good money. So Russian market can be very interesting for Indian businessmen and for Indian investors. We have to work in order to, as I have mentioned before, in order to create a system that will minimize a possibility of interference from third countries. And you have mentioned the system of exchange between banks. The various methods of payments between two countries will be on the agenda. We understandably we will not be able to speak on that. We will not be able to make it public because of the reasons that you would probably understand. But we are continuing to work on that. We are continuing to think together how we have to create a really bilateral systems or multilateral systems that could constitute an alternative for the systems that can be used as a political tool in order to make a pressure over desired countries. So because if a payment system is being used as a political tool or as a tool of pressure, political pressure, you have to create something new that will be free of political pressure, that will bring additional benefits to countries that use this system. This will be the case for our joint efforts.